Hey friends, thanks for stopping by. Let's go make something. I'm starting my Valentine window by using 4 of the 5x7 Dollar Tree frames. I'm removing the backing, the glass, and the little tabs that hold them into place. Once I'm done, I'm using some painter's tape and I'm attaching all 4 of the frames together on the front. I'm making sure all sides match up perfectly, and then I'm taping them together. Taping the frames together is completely optional. For me, it just makes it so much easier when I'm using my hot glue to attach them together. Once all the tape is in place, it makes the frames easy to bend, and all I'm doing is attaching them together using a bead of hot glue. When I was done, I ran a bead of hot glue on the back of the attached frames. Once the glue has dried, I turn my frames over and I remove the painter's tape. With all my tape removed, I'm using some white acrylic paint to paint my frames. I'm using white, but you can pick any color that would fit best in your home decor. Once my first coat of white was dry, I could still see some of the frame coming through, so I ended up giving it 2 coats. With my paint dry, I'm attaching the glass panels back into my window, and this time I'm using some E6000. Adding the glass is completely optional. The window will work fine without it. And I'm using my E6000 instead of hot glue because I'm going to be hanging this on the wall, and I just want to be sure that the glass panels don't fall out. While I was adding the glue, I saw white and I thought, oh my gosh, the paint's not dry yet. When I pulled the tube away to look at it, apparently I had bought the white E6000. And so if you notice that it's white, that's why. I usually buy the clear, but the white worked perfect for this project. I want to hang my project, so I need to make a hanger for the back. All I'm doing is taking a heavy piece of floral wire and I'm twisting it into a loop. To attach it in place, I'm using a generous amount of my E6000 and placing the wire right in the middle of it. Once I had it in place, I let it set up overnight. To make the heart accent in the middle of my window, I'm using one of the Dollar Tree paper bags along with an 8-inch Dollar Tree wooden heart. And I'll also be using some Mod Podge. I cut off one side of the bag and I also removed the handle. When I was done, I then removed the hanger from the wooden heart. Using a paintbrush, I added a generous amount of Mod Podge to one side of the heart. When I was done, I placed the Mod Podge side down onto the plain side of the bag and I pressed it into place. Once my heart was dry, I used my X-Acto blade to cut it out. If you don't have one, you can always use a pair of scissors. I'm using some Dollar Tree amaranthus and roses to decorate mine, but you can pick any flowers that you'd like. I'm removing all the leaves and the flowers from the stems. The roses are in full bloom and I need 2 rose buds, so I'm removing 2 of the bottom petals on 2 of the roses, and then I'm replacing the green base. The amaranthus is too long, so I'm going to be cutting those in half, and I'm also going to be cutting all the little finished ends off of the flowers and the leaves. Once all my flowers are cut and ready, I'm hot gluing them onto the heart. There's no right way or wrong way to do this. You just kind of decide where you'd like them to be, and then I just hot glued mine into place. Once my roses were attached to one side, I started filling in between them with my amaranthus and the leaves. So I started working on the right side and I added some of the amaranthus, and what I did was I left an opening before I hot glued in my rosebud because I'm going to be adding on a bow. I continued filling in all the empty spaces with my flowers and my leaves, and I also found some ivy in my stash and I added that in as well. Now that all my flowers are added, I'm going to be adding in a bow, and I'm using this pretty black wired ribbon that I found in the wedding department, and I'm also using some of this red sheer ribbon, both from the Dollar Tree. I decided how long I wanted my tail, and then I made a bow out of my black ribbon. When I was done, I used a piece of floral wire to attach my bow together. With my black bow complete, I used the red ribbon and I made a simple bow. Once again, I looped it together, I tied it off with my floral wire, and then I attached it to the black bow. Using my glue gun, I'm attaching the bow to the open space on my heart. To finish up, I'm using my E6000 and I'm attaching my heart to the center of the window. Today, I'm participating in the Valentine's DIY Challenge hosted by Heidi from Heidi Sonboul DIY. She has an amazing channel, which I will link below, along with the playlist for this challenge in my description. To make my Valentine's house, I'm using one of the plastic banks that are shaped like a house from the Dollar Tree. I'm removing the backing, and off camera, I'm going to tap out the plastic insert. It actually came apart really easy. I'm going to use this pretty heart Dollar Tree bag as the backing for my house. Just like my last project, I'm cutting off the front panel of the bag. And just like my last project, I'm using my Mod Podge and a paintbrush to attach the back of the house to the bag. Once I'm done, I'm then placing the bag over the house panel. Once it's dry, I use my X-Acto knife to cut around the edges. I'm adding a small bouquet to my house, and I'm using some of the Dollar Tree flowers along with the red and pink glitter hearts. I'm using some heavyweight pieces of floral wire and I'm going to be cutting them in half. With the wire cut, I'm now attaching it to the heart by placing it up through the bottom. I'm going to keep doing this for 3 of the red hearts and 2 of the pink. This wire is pretty thick, so the hearts are staying in place, but if you have a thinner wire, you can always add a dot of hot glue to make sure they stay with the wire. I cut some of the roses and the baby's breath from the main stems. When I was done, I gathered them together to make a small bouquet. Once they were exactly the way I liked them, I used a piece of floral wire to hold them all together. I continued wrapping the wire around all the stems just to help them stay in place. Once everything was tightly in place, I started adding my hearts, and I used that wire to wrap around the stems as well. I'm using the same red ribbon that I used in my last project, and With a little hot glue, I'm going to cut a piece and wrap it around the base of the bouquet to cover all the wires. Once all the wires are hidden and out of sight, I'm then using the same ribbon to make a simple bow. I then used my hot glue gun to attach it into place. With my bouquet complete, adding it to the back of the house is super easy. All I'm going to do is hot glue it into place. With the back part of my house complete, it's now time to paint the front. I need to cover the coin slot on the top, so I'm going to Mod Podge on a piece of white paper. Once it's dry to the touch, I'm then painting my house with some white acrylic paint. While the white paint on my house is drying, I'm now going to make the chimney. To make the chimney for my house, I'm using the tumbling tower blocks. I'm using 16 of them, and I'm making 4 chimney pieces with 4 blocks each. I'm using my STARBOND thick glue to attach them together. It works amazing, and it will set these wood blocks up together in less than a minute. I used STARBOND glue for one of my past wooden snowman projects, and it works so well. It's now my go-to glue for all my wooden projects. I really like that you can interchange the nozzle. It has a replaceable cap, so it doesn't dry out like a lot of other super glues. I was so impressed by the way the glue worked that STARBOND gave me a 10% off code that I could share with my friends. I'm going to link it below in my description in case you'd like to give this STARBOND glue a try. My 3 sets of block, they set up in probably less than a minute. And for the 4th set, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to be adding some smoke to my chimney, so I'm cutting 5 pieces of thin floral wire at about 10 inches each. Once they're cut, and to give them the appearance of billowing smoke, I'm using a pencil, and all I'm doing is wrapping the wire around the pencil. With all 5 complete, I'm placing the flat ends between the blocks, and I'm attaching them together with my STARBOND glue. Now that they're all set up and keeping with the theme of my Valentine's house, I'm using my pink and red acrylic paint to paint the pieces of the chimney. To give my wire a smoky appearance, I'm using some gray acrylic paint, and I'm giving them a coat. I'm using some of these small red hearts that I bought at the Dollar Tree. They have a sticky back, and I'm using 2 hearts for each piece of wire. They're super easy to attach. I'm just removing the backing and then placing 1 heart against the other with the wire in between. When you're done, you'll have some little hearts floating out of your chimney. With all my stacks complete, I'm using my STARBOND glue, and I'm attaching them together. I'm using a wooden Dollar Tree love sign, and I'm painting it in white and pink. With all my pieces complete, I'm now attaching them together. I'm running a bead of glue on the back of the house, and then I'm attaching my heart backing. Once that's complete, I'm now using my hot glue gun to attach the love sign to the front of the house. And to finish up, I'm using my glue gun, and I'm attaching my chimney to the side of the house. And with that, our Valentine's Day house is complete. To make my heart candle holder, I'm using one of the wine glasses from the Dollar Tree. I'm also using 3 packages of these elastic heart bracelets. This project is so easy. I'm using some E6000 and all I'm going to do is attach the bracelets to the glass. I'm making this candle holder to work with an LED candle. I'm not sure how it would work with a live flame. This was the pattern I chose for my candle holder, but these bracelets would look cute attached in all different ways. I found these really pretty heart stickers at the Dollar Tree, and using my E6000, I'm going to attach one in the center of each of my designs. I'm going to add in some of the decorative foil filler to my candle holder, but if you don't have any on hand, you can always just leave it plain or you can add in some sand. To finish up our heart candle holder, I'm adding in one of the LED candles from the Dollar Tree. Thanks so much for stopping by and making these Valentine projects with me. If you're new and you think, hey, I'd like to come back and hang out with her again, don't forget to hit that little red subscribe button below. I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.